Well, week 12 is upon us here in this ever so quick college football season. It's November 15th, believe it or not, at this point in time. Hard to imagine we would have
It
been
really
this
is.
far into the season so quick, but welcome in. It's Armchair Analysis live this Saturday morning. A little behind schedule, but it's still better than what we do most days. We're going to be talking everything week 12 today. Everything that's gone on during the week so far, we're going to get into that here in a little bit. I got a take 10 that I didn't get out yesterday because I didn't get a video yesterday, unfortunately. Personal family stuff kind of took over the day yesterday, and
Hmm.
not particularly going to be upset about it, but I wasn't in the frame of mind to really do much yesterday as it was. So we move from that. We'll get the take 10 today, this morning. We'll get it early enough that way y'all can get your bets in if you want to fade me. Um, and then we will talk about everything else going on today. Of course, we do a full recap of all 136 here in the FBS. So, um, with that said, let's go ahead and take a look back through the week. We're going to go all the way back to Tuesday, where we'll go ahead and start with Western Michigan and Ohio, because I know how that game ended. Well, I know how both games ended, but I don't remember the score of the other. So, Western Michigan gets a 17-13 win, a late touchdown puts them up and gives them their first, or sorry, not their first win, but puts them in, I believe, I don't want to say sole possession of first, but puts them in a tie for first, all alone now with,
Let's see.
sorry, sole possession of first, sole possession of
Yeah, I
first,
was about to say sole position
because
first.
Toledo lost, and or no, Toledo won, Miami, Ohio lost, that's who it was.
And there's 5 teams that are one game back of them in the MAC. That's
Yes.
just crazy.
Yeah, it's a mess in the MAC, and it goes to prove again, like you don't know what you think you know about the MAC whatsoever. You have no idea.
Hmm.
Um, but a big win for Western Michigan. They again sole possession of first in the conference. Kent State, on the other hand, on Friday or Tuesday night, got a big lead, 35-14, I think it was, maybe something in that range. I can't
35,
remember.
17.
There it is. I thought it was 17, but I was very confused by it. Anyways, um, 35-17 lead. Akron comes back, ties this game at 35. They go to overtime. Kent State wins 42-35 in OT. Look, Mark Harney's done a great job. We've talked about it. A guy that's really turned this program around. I mean, this is a team that had 2 wins in the last 3 years, I think it was. They're now 4-6 in
Yeah.
2025 and playing some really good football. Drew DeShields has been phenomenal for them from a max standard at quarterback. Sorry, my glasses are dirty as shit.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm not distracted by that. But Drew Steele has been great, and Akron's been inconsistent. Joe Moorhead's they've had a good year. I mean, they fall to, I believe, 4-7 now, but
Yeah.
they've had a good year by Akron standards. These two teams are playing for a lot, not just the wagon wheel. But Kent State takes it home with an overtime victory Tuesday night again.
Rock you like a wagon wheel.
Wednesday night we had blowouts. Toledo beats Miami,
Hmm.
Ohio 24-3. Northern
And that's the
Illinois,
closest game.
yeah, Northern Illinois beats
Well,
UMass 45-3, and Central Michigan beats Buffalo 38-19, doubles them up in that one. Central Michigan is second by this tiebreaker scenario right now. Is currently the second
mhm.
team into Detroit.
Yeah,
That's
and Central Michigan just a couple weeks ago lost to Western Michigan. That was a really tight game, and then that might get a rematch
yeah.
in Detroit if things continue to play out how it looks like they could. By the way, did you see in the Northern Illinois UMass game, UMass kicked a field goal like midway through the fourth, or closing in on like 5 minutes to go, and UMass's stadium like shot off like all their fireworks basically because that might have been the only points they were going to get for the night. It was a field goal, and
Well, I
sure
think,
enough, that's all it was.
I mean, you bought them, you might as well use them, right? I mean, that's kind
Right,
of where we're at in today's
right.
world. Um, but no, pretty. I mean, I won't say solid action on Wednesday, but Tuesday night was definitely like the night of the week to this point.
Yeah.
Um, Thursday night, Old Dominion just flattened Troy. I had Old Dominion just on a money line and a parlay I had that hit. I was happy about that Thursday night, but could have had Old Dominion -10 like they were favored.
Yeah, they
They
were
win 33
11
nothing
and a
over
half.
Troy. I was
Yep.
beyond surprised at the result of that game. Thought that Troy would hang around a little bit. I mean, they are competing for a conference championship bid themselves in the Western Division of the Sun Belt. Not even
Yeah.
close. ODU, huge.
Yeah, that was one of those that I was eyeing as a potential upset pick, and I think I did take it in our group, and my goodness, it was just completely wrong. There was nothing that Troy was able to do that against ODU on
Yeah.
Thursday night.
On Friday, last night, Oregon dominates Minnesota, had a handful of highlight-worthy plays, but that's about as much as we got out of that game. Clemson, 20-19 win over Louisville. That's the third loss for the Cards this year. It knocks them
All
out
in
of
ACC.
ACC contention completely.
Mm-hmm.
Gives Miami room to continue to move forward now. With that, they no
Mm-hmm.
longer would be behind in the tiebreaker, so it's helpful for Miami. It kills Louisville's shot to make a run here, and Clemson a gutsy win. They're 5-5, and obviously we've all been very aware. Like the talent is way more than a 5-5 team on this program,
Mm-hmm.
but they continue to fight. They continue to go out and push to win games, which is something that I mean you just don't get everywhere. I think that even Dabo mentioned it last night. It's the heart that some of these teams have, some of these programs have, outweighs the individual performances, the individual accolades, and I think that Clemson's done a great job of continuing to fight through all the adversity this year, all the things that have gone wrong this year. They should be 6-4 right now. I mean, we
Yeah.
all, I think, agree they should be 6-4 based on the Duke game, and there's probably more than that. I mean, the ACC officiating has been the worst in the Power Four period this year. Right?
Yeah.
There's no denying it. So, I
Well,
mean, look, Clemson's 5-5. They're fighting for a bowl game. They'll probably get there. I think they'll win one of the
yeah,
next two, but
they got Furman next week, so they should.
okay, well, they got a chance at
Furman and
7.
then
So
at South Carolina.
yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how they progress, how they move forward, what they do going forward, and really what the offseason looks like. They dipped into the transfer portal. Does Dabo say, you know what, we're not doing that anymore, we're pulling out, or they're gonna go a little heavier with it? What changes are made?
Yeah.
I mean, what changes are
I
made?
mean,
Because honestly, I mean, we've talked, BJ, on this very show about offensive coordinators. Garrett Riley
mhm.
hasn't been it at Clemson. He hasn't
Yep.
been shit at Clemson.
Yep.
And sure, you might
I
take
mean,
Garrett Riley back, but how do we know that what happened at TCU 2 years ago wasn't because of number 15? I mean, just answer me. I
yeah.
mean, seriously,
That's a,
I personally at this point think that we sit back and look at it. I would take Kendall Briles right now over what Clemson's getting. That's
I
just
think
me. I'm not
no,
everybody, but that's where
right.
I'm at. I'm not trying to rehash an old debate either because that's
No. I get it, but I think it was a mix up. Having Duggan there, going to the transfer portal, which Sonny Dykes and Garrett Riley, identified. I think the talent that they wanted in that offseason coming in after the 2021 campaign went and got some of those that might not have been looked at as you know some of the ones that the bigger schools were wanting to hold on to, and they were able to utilize them very well.
yeah.
Quentin Johnson, I should say, was a Patterson recruit. I'm trying to remember on Kendra Miller and Amari DeMercado.
But
I
either
think
way, I mean the point is
anyway,
like it was a lot of players who developed well and played in the system well
yeah,
and did what needed to be done, and
yeah,
I mean they just didn't have that with they haven't had that with Cade Klubnik. They tried last year, they did try. This year to an extent they've tried, and I think the Cade Klubnik,
yeah,
believe it or not, and I'm not saying this because he was my Heisman pick, I'm saying this because I genuinely believe what I'm telling you, that I think they have gotten enough out of Cade Klubnik. I think it's other parts of this team that have really kind of been a letdown spot. I think the running back position has been a bit of a letdown. I think the wide receiver position has been probably the biggest letdown. They had receivers coming back from last year that we thought were going to take a big step forward. It's been a trouble spot in development really for the last 3 or 4 years, I think, at Clemson has been. Really since they have been a consistent playoff team.
Yeah.
They haven't really developed the wide receiver position well. And I think they're continuing to have that issue. I think they're developing offensive line poorly. And I think that's been since Garrett Riley came in. I just think they have they leave a lot to be desired in the development category for a lot of these guys. And I don't know what, outside of cleaning house, I don't know what the right option is. I think Tom Allen's done a good job, and I think he's really figured it out as time has gone on and gotten this team where they need to be defensively. That's why we're seeing them play in these closer games.
Yeah.
But they're losing a lot of these closer games because the offense can't move the ball. That's, to me, I am putting this a lot more on Clemson in the coaching staff and the development than I am really the way things have played out this year.
Right. I mean, here's the thing. You go back and look at their schedule. You know, LSU, a touchdown loss probably could have been worse, but week 1. Week 3, they lost on a walk-off field goal and a good back-and-forth game with Georgia Tech, who's at the top of the conference right now. Syracuse, you know, flat out came in and you know, stomped them. And I don't
Steve
think that they were
Angeli,
expecting that.
leading that Syracuse team, was a different Syracuse team. Like, they were actually good with Angeli at quarterback. I don't take a lot of hate to that loss, but
correct. I'm not. All I meant by that was that I don't think Clemson was expecting what they got out of Syracuse in that game.
No.
Of course but ever since then, I mean, they thoroughly thrashed North Carolina and BC.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have Klubnik for the SMU game, but they were competitive, put up a fight before SMU was able to pull away and win that one. And then, as you mentioned just a little bit ago, you could argue they got thoroughly, you know, effed out of the Duke game, and they've won back to back since then, including, you know, a tough road win coming back last night. I mean, this is a team that
went over
feels
Florida
like
State. And then
a thorough thrashing of them, and they got 2 very winnable games. This is still a team that could, you know, finish 8-5, or you know, I mean, if they'd been able to get the right result against Duke, it could have been a 9-win team, despite everything, you know, going the way that it started, where they were 1-3.
Yeah, 100%. I definitely am interested to watch. You know, Dabo's been around for a long time. I'm curious to watch how he does it, because he likes to do he's big on the good old boy system. He's big on you've been here, you paid your dues, I'm going to give you your shot. I don't think he can do that this time around. Like those national championship runs, those playoff runs that he's had can only carry you so far when you haven't made it back in 6 years now.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta get a little more out of your program. I don't think it's 6 years. I think it was 2020, but the point remains.
Yeah, I was just say they went in the 2019 season and they were competitive in 2020, but they lost in the semifinal. I think that's.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. They still made it to the playoffs in 2020, so it's been
I think
5
that's their
seasons
last
now.
appearance, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So, with all that said, let's go ahead and take a look real quick. Now, BJ, you're going to be yeeted off the screen for just a moment. I have the take 10 for you guys. Okay, I wanted to get this in about an hour and a half before we get started with games. So, BJ, you're actually audible. I turned on my desktop audio, so hopefully there's no other sounds that come through. I closed all the other tabs. No, but anyways, we've got a pretty solid, I think, week ahead. Look, we're 45-57. We were above 500 last week. That was the goal. We're going to continue to push to get that closer to 500 by the time we get to bowl season. We're going to start with a game I previewed this week. Alabama covering 5.5 against Oklahoma. I don't see this game particularly being close. I don't think John Mateer is going to be ready to go. We've talked about his kind of woes since things have come back. We'll preview the game later today. I like Alabama to cover 5.5. UTSA getting 17.5 against Charlotte. I like 17.5 for UTSA. I think they'll cover that. I like what Owen McCown's done at times this year. They've shown a lot of promise. I think in this game, this is one where they can get a lot of momentum built forward. Coastal Carolina goes to Georgia Southern as 3.5-point underdogs. I think they're going to not only cover, I think they're going to win outright. Coastal plus 3.5. San Diego State minus 1.5 against Boise State. Boise State's starting a first-time starter today against this SDSU defense that has been lights out all year long. Wouldn't be surprised the way the Boise's offense played last week. If San Diego State not only closes it down, but legitimately closes it down in this game today with a shutout. San Diego State minus 1.5, not enough. Give me the Aztecs big in that one. Western Kentucky, 14.5-point favorites against Middle Tennessee State. I like Western Kentucky to cover that number at home today. Illinois and Maryland, over 51.5. I think that we've kind of talked. Illinois' defense is actually not as good as people believe. They're still in the 80s, I believe, in total defense. They're going to be facing a quarterback in Malik Washington who can get it done. A true freshman quarterback who's played well this year, had a lot of success. The Maryland defense, just as bad. I think this is going to be two teams that score into the 30s. I'm taking the over 51.5 today. Utah State, welcome back to my Take 10 for a second week in a row. You are covering 6.5 today against UNLV. I'm riding the wave with the Aggies. I think that we've seen a lot of good out of Bronco Mendenhall's program, and they continue to build forward and improve week over week. UNLV has regressed, seemingly, as the season's gone on. I like Utah State to cover that. Maybe even pull the outright upset. Iowa, USC, under 48.5. So you remember how, last week, cold, rainy, disgusting weather. Okay. This game, while not in Iowa City, Iowa brought the weather with them. It's going to be rainy. It's going to be maybe 20 degrees warmer, but it is going to be raining all day today. This is going to play into the hands of Iowa, but do not forget that USC has ran for over 200 yards in a couple of their big wins this season. They have been physical themselves. I like USC to win the game. We'll talk more about it later. But I'm taking the under, 48.5. I think that this is going to be another sloppy, disgusting game in perfect conditions for Iowa football. We'll see if Iowa can get the upset today versus last week.
If USC is playing in that kind of weather, they probably out there think it's the end of the world, don't they?
Well, it's very, very rare, as I've come to learn, that the rain happens that way. But every once in a while, you get some, especially this time of year.
Yeah.
So you never know.
By the way, something to go back and watch, because I know you're into the Take 10, but this segment that they've got McAfee with his shirt off and talking about Kreischer with his shirt off and all the student section or all the fans at games that have been, doing their taking their shirts off and everything. Looks like it's a hysterical segment. I got the sound off, but we're definitely worth going back and rewatching, because Pat's got his shirt off, as does
No, I'm watching.
My gosh.
I'm looking.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, it's so stupid. I
know it looks funny, but it does look, stupid for sure. Anyway.
That's so fucking dumb. All right. Eastern Michigan and Ball State. I'm going to take the under 48.5. These two teams suck, and they are not scoring 48 points combined. I am taking this game to be probably like 17-10, much like any other game this week. This is going to be punters. Man, thank God you guys don't get a lot of work any other time, because today's going to be one of those days. Actually, on these two two teams, you do. And if you're a punter, you should probably be getting ready to set up a lawsuit, I think. Anyways, under 48.5.
401k.
Yeah, something. Marshall minus 7.5 against Georgia State. Look, yesterday was the 55th anniversary of the Marshall plane crash on their way back from a game against East Carolina back in 1970. Today means a lot to this program. It always does. It's never going to fail. They are on the road today at Georgia State. I don't give a damn if they were playing on the road. I don't care if they were playing at West Virginia today. Marshall's going to go in and win this game. I think they're going to cover it. I think the momentum of this day, the momentum of this time of year for this team, they always buy into the ability to go and win on this weekend. They always go in and fight their hardest on this weekend of the season. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if they're playing in the playoffs or not, which they have not, but it wouldn't matter. this is the game that matters the most to them. I'm taking Marshall to cover 7.5 today. They played really well against teams that they are just better than. This is one of those teams I think they'll get it done against. So
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm very interested to see what their record this weekend of the season going back over the last 55 years since that accident, since the tragedy occurred, is, because like you said, it does feel like they always put their best effort of the season out there this week.
yeah, no, every time, and it's always fun to watch. It's always inspiring, man. I you know,
Mm-hmm.
um, obviously yesterday means a lot to me. My dad's birthday would have been his 59th yesterday. The Marshall plane crash has always kind of been something that I've taken time to at least think about or remember over the course of time, at least since I've known about it, obviously, as a college football fan. So, just an interesting day of perspective yesterday. I was going to wear this Marshall shirt yesterday for the show, but I didn't. Again, never got to it. So, decided hadn't worn it. I'll wear it today, and we'll rip the herd for a day today.
I didn't even I don't have a Marshall shirt, and I didn't intend to match with you, but I'm also wearing green in solidarity.
Oh, is that why you're wearing it?
No,
Oh,
but it
okay.
sounds nice when I say it that
Yeah,
way.
yeah, it does. He's such a fucking. This guy's always looking for the fucking for something to say that he's doing something good.
At least RJ is. At least I'm not RJ who says you're back on your BS today.
Hey, I'm in a good mood today, dude.
Hey, I mean,
Much more than I can say about
you
I
and
was yesterday.
I was about to say yesterday was a pretty good day for me and for the our Big East dynasty. If we got time, maybe we can talk a little bit about that before the end of the show.
Well, you can, because I'm going into I'm writing some stuff down real quick, so you can go ahead and do it while I'm getting prepared for the
A
next start.
crazy. A crazy game played out between Cam and I believe one pundit called it the game of the dynasty so far, and so if you're looking back at just the stats from and the numbers from last year, Cam says let's not. If you're looking back at the stats and the numbers from last year, it won't show up as such, but this is now the second overtime dynasty game that Boston College has played in, and they've won them both. But last year there was a let's see, how do I say this nicely? Technical snafu after the game-winning touchdown occurred. Somebody's internet got reset or something. I don't know. So it didn't count, and so when the result of the next week occurred, it was not the same outcome that played out on the field, but it will live on forever in our hearts and our memes. But this one will, and man, a great game, back and forth effort from both Cam and I, as Boston College in overtime survives a late 2-point try from Rutgers to take it 31-30. A fun game. Cam and I went back and forth down the field. He got the ball first. He scored first. I tied it up. He was ahead by a touchdown at half. I tied it up out of the break. Goes up by score going into the fourth quarter. I tie it up again. I get a stop. I kick a field goal. He goes down. He gets a field goal. We go to overtime.
Wait, hang on. Cam made a field goal?
I know, right?
Cam made a field goal. Damn, that's crazy.
Cam made a field goal. I mean,
to be fair, though, you know what's funny? He made every single kick last season, too. So,
I was about to say, Cam made
he's been putting in the
every
time.
single one of his kicks last year, in our game yesterday. But he had 2 kicks go out of bounds, if I'm remembering right. So,
well, he's saving it for the right time, I suppose.
I was about to say that is I will take that. But I get a touchdown, go up 7 to start overtime. Had a couple of chances to get off the field with the win without him scoring points, but he had really good play calls at both times. Was able to score the touchdown, and then went for 2 in the win as opposed to playing in second overtime, and he overshot his receiver, and so BC wins.
Yeah.
RJ, what VJ saying? Keep the game of regulation. You're beating BC. I don't know because I've won some regulation games too. So
Perhaps he has. Anyways,
mhm.
we yeah, we had a good time. I played my game against Texas Tech top 10 team that I was facing
Yeah,
with my Bearcats and pulled a pretty controlled win. 2 Jaden Ball fumbles away from a 45-14 ass whooping, but it's all right. We only won by 10. Make it look like teams have a chance. I get it. I don't mind.
right.
Anyways, with all that said, I'm ready to preview today's games, today's action a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and start in the American Athletic Conference. USF goes on the road to face Navy, noon on ESPN2. By the way, welcome back, YouTube TV and ESPN. Thank you. Thank fuck. I'm sick and tired of ESPN's app because it's always behind. I'm always so far behind that BJ gets to spoil my fucking game for me. So hopefully, today I can have a day where I don't get fucking people spoiling shit. USF and Navy, I'm excited for this game. Very pumped. Blake Horvath should be back today. Bulls 9.5-point favorites. I like Navy to cover. I think that's probably homerism a little bit. I want Navy to cover. I want Navy to get a win here today. Keep themselves in the conversation for the American Conference title because fuck Army. We need to get this shit back. It needs to be Navy's time to own this conference. I wouldn't mind that one bit. So I'm taking Navy to get the win over South Florida and hopefully put JMU in their rightful position on the throne of the group of 5. But Navy is a team I'd like to win. And as we've talked, USF is now a 10.5-point favorite. So whichever you assholes bet on USF, I hope you lose.
I was just say I'm still seeing it 9.5, but I'm right with you in thinking that Navy sticks around in this game, and I think they've got a very good shot to win. I'm going to take South Florida to win, but I do believe that Navy covers that spread, especially at home, knowing it's going to be a tight game, knowing it's going to be a great environment on campus, at the Naval Academy. I'm looking forward to it. This is definitely going back in the first quad box back after the resolution of the dispute.
It ain't my first quad box back, but or on YouTube TV since, but damn, it's going to be a nice one finally.
Well, I was just saying, I've got a quad box going right now of the pregame shows, but nothing's going to hit like the crack that's going to be 4 games going on at the same time on 4 different networks on YouTube TV again. Like trying it on my computer for some reason didn't work out as well as I wanted it to here over the last couple weeks. So it's going to go back on the TV as God intended.
That's fair. That's a reasonable take there. All right. UTSA going on the road to face Charlotte. Look, Charlotte's been bad. They've been bad at home.
Mm-hmm.
They've been bad on the road. Doesn't really matter where they play. I like UTSA to win and cover. I've already talked about that game.
So here's the thing. If I'm remembering correctly, UTSA for a long time has struggled or either not won a game outright on the East Coast or struggled in those games and just not have the best road records. I think this might be the cure that ails thee. I think UTSA gets the win, but if they start out slow, I'm thinking Charlotte will find a way to cover, but I think UTSA gets the win and pulls it out of the fire late.
All right. I'm looking through. I'm trying to do something at the same time. So
You're good.
Always nice when I'm in the middle of shit. Oregon State goes on the road to face Tulsa. I don't care. This is, I know, Mountain West game 2, but Oregon State plays Tulsa on the road in Oklahoma. I'm going to say Oregon State wins because I think Tulsa's that bad, but that's kind of just where I sit with it.
I mean, Oregon State arguably should be 3-7 right now. They choked away a winnable game at home last week against Sam Houston. I'm gonna take the Beavers to get back on the right in the right column this week and get a win over Tulsa.
All right. North Texas goes on the road to face UAB. I almost put this in my take 10 for a couple of reasons. One, North Texas -17.5. Love that number. Number two, over under 69.5. Nice.
Nice.
Over. I think these two teams score points. UAB scored a lot of points. North Texas scored a lot of points. I wouldn't be surprised if this gets to be a 63-28 type of showdown. I think North Texas wins. I think they do it comfortably, but I wouldn't be surprised if UAB puts some points up too.
I'm going to take North Texas to win and cover. I think this is going to prove, UAB had something clicking in the game against Memphis, especially with Chris Mortensen's son as the interim coach. But I just don't think they've got enough firepower to hang with Drew Mestemaker in this North Texas squad. Give me the Mean Green to move to 9-1, and holy cow, watch out the rest of the American Conference because UNC's still in this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure I get my fucking profit boost bets in on FanDuel today.
Yeah,
sorry.
Go for it. No,
but anyways,
do you want me to take the next one?
No, we're good.
We're good.
I'm okay. In on this one. Fuck you. I'm in on this. Memphis goes on the road to Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium, the best stadium in North Carolina. She didn't hear that. The best stadium in North Carolina, and it's not particularly close. Look, it's no secret the affinity that I have with ECU. I am very excited to watch this team play. Blake Harrell's done a great job. Year one under him, I did not expect what we've gotten. They are currently in contention, tied for first in this conference.
Yep.
Tied for first in this conference. A win today carries that momentum forward. And by the way, a win today not only carries it forward for them, but that means that Memphis becomes completely eliminated if they weren't already. Mm-hmm. They would be competing still with North Texas, likely Tulane. Tulane has a game later today as well, but nonetheless.
The winner of South Florida Navy.
And then whoever wins South Florida Navy, that will cut it down from a 5-way tie to at least a 4-way tie for first. Look, ECU at home is a different animal. I think people don't quite understand that. Also makes what BYU did to them earlier this season a lot more impressive. East Carolina's going to be 7-3. And look, if they're that interested and that into the American as a playoff team or a playoff contender, this team needs to be considered if they get there and if they win this conference, especially if it's not JMU coming out of the Sun Belt. That's all I'm going to say. But that's a long way away. I think East Carolina wins today. I think they get the job done. They're a 2.5-point favorite. I'm not comfortable betting the game in general, but if ECU wins, I would take them to cover.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised, but it's one of those things that I think, given the home field element, it's basically looked at as a coin flip if they were playing this one at a neutral site. I guess the big question is how close to 100% is Brendan Lewis for Memphis in this game,
and that he hasn't been for weeks. I mean, that's the other thing is he hasn't finished the game in weeks. I don't know. If I were to guess, I don't think he gets through today's game. Personally, and that's not me wishing for an injury. That's just me saying that. How do you expect him to?
Right. It's got to be seen before we could say for sure. And I'm right there with you in thinking that whether he is or not, I think ECU can hang around and absolutely win this game too. I'm going to take the Pirates to knock Memphis out of the chase in the American race.
Tulane plays FAU today as 16.5-point favorites. If there is a team that I think can be the upset-minded team in today's set of games in terms of the 10+ point favorites in this conference, I think FAU's that team. Here's the problem: turnovers. Caden Veltkamp leads the country in interceptions thrown this year. He's been great. He's thrown a lot. He's played very well, but this offense kind of lends itself to that. And if you don't make the right decisions, you're going to throw a lot of interceptions. If FAU takes care of the ball, they're going to stick around in this game and they're going to keep it within 16.5. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think Tulane wins. I'm leaning towards the Tulane cover on this one, but I don't think it's not going to matter. Nonetheless, they're going to still be competing for a chance to win the conference.
Yeah, I'm going with a Tulane win. I'm going with a Tulane cover. I think that Tulane keeps their playoff hopes alive and keeps themselves in, the pecking order. Listen, I mean, if you're Tulane, that road trip to UTSA a few weeks ago right now is the reason why you're in that kind of logjam as opposed to first place outright in this conference right now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be very interesting to watch this whole thing go down. Moving on to the Conference USA side of things. Don't need to spend a ton of time here. But UTEP, Missouri State is going to be the first one. I think Missouri State's going to win at home. 4.5-point favorites. They'll probably win and maybe cover. UTEP's been tough. They've hung around in the majority of their games. They just haven't been able to win them. I think Missouri State will get it done again today.
Yeah, I'm seeing a different line than you are. I've just got Missouri State minus 6.5 on this ESPN
Sorry,
page.
I read it wrong. Sorry, dyslexic.
It's okay. 4 and 6 are anyway. By the way, it did confirm from last week we were talking about if Missouri State won and got to 6 wins if they are eligible for a bowl. It doesn't look like right now, at least, that they would be, but there's a possibility with if there's not enough bowl eligible teams or if there's if they get the waiver approved that Missouri State could be playing in a bowl game. So give them a reason to put you in. Keep winning, Missouri State. I think they do today.
Yeah. MTSU and Western Kentucky. I already explained what I think of that. Western Kentucky minus 13.5. It was 14.5 when I got it earlier, but it's down to 13.5. I still like it. I'm gonna let you take over for the rest of the Conference USA while I work on something real quick.
I was about to say Western Kentucky big in that one. New Mexico State's on the road at 23rd ranked Tennessee. We're going to come back to that in the SEC slate of things, but just know that's a Conference USA team on the road, and they are not favored to win in that one. Maybe a surprise, but it shouldn't be. Liberty is at Florida International, FIU, over there at Pitbull Stadium in Miami. Liberty has been one of those so weirdly inconsistent teams this year that it is hard to put a whole lot of faith into them going on the road and winning a game. I mean, they've lost winnable games at home. They've lost winnable games on the road. I think they're still getting treated like they're the same Liberty here of the last couple of years, and that's just not the case this year. I don't know if I believe that FIU is going to win this game, but if they do, it's going to be because Keyshawn Owens has a say in it. I'm going to take the Panthers. Give me FIU here to get a home win and really keep this weird, wacky season for Liberty crashing down some more.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Liberty to win. I trust the coaching a little bit more in this game. I like Keelan Jenkins. I like Keyshawn Owens. I'm a bit of an FIU fan from afar, and in terms of knowing this roster a little bit. But I think Liberty is just going to be the better team today. I think again coaching is going to be a big deal, and I'm trusting in Liberty to get the job done there.
Then you have Delaware, who is 3-3 in their first year in the CUSA, going on the road to 1-8, winless no more. Sam Houston. Delaware's an 11.5-point favorite. I think Sam Houston, got some breaks that bounced their way last week. I think they can hang around in this game, but I think Delaware's going to be a little too much for the Bearcats to overcome. I'm going to take Delaware to get their 6th win and get to bowl eligible here tonight.
Yeah, no, I am right there with you. Delaware getting another win.
game of the year in the Conference USA, and it's going to be tonight, 8 o'clock on ESPNU. And believe you me, find a way to get this one on your television screens. You got 7-2 Kennesaw State, the Owls, 5-0 in conference play at Amherst Stadium in Jacksonville, Alabama, 6-3, 5-0 in Conference USA, the Jacksonville State Gamecocks. This is going to be a fantastic matchup. You know that there was a ton of talent that went with Coach Rich Rodriguez up to West Virginia from Jacksonville State a year ago, but it has not mattered. Jacksonville State has kept rolling right along in conference play. They have, they had a 1-3 non-conference record, but they also challenged themselves. Kennesaw State has been clicking along here this year as well. Cam Cook leading the way for the Gamecocks, 200 carries, 1181 on the ground, 12 touchdowns. Meanwhile, Kennesaw has been a little bit better through the air. Mari Odom with over 1,200 yards passing, 8 touchdowns, 3 picks on the air. Favorite target has been Gabriel Binyard, 38 grabs, 568 yards, and 5 receiving touchdowns. Man, Kennesaw's a slight favorite in this game, but I think that the sportsbooks have been wrong about Jacksonville State, and it goes back not just to this year, but goes back to last year too. Jacksonville State is one of those teams that, for whatever reason, the odds makers love to hate. I think the Gamecocks get the home win. I think they upset Kennesaw State and they take sole possession of first place in Conference USA. Give me Jacksonville State to take down Kennesaw State tonight.
There are a couple of things that Rich Rod did not take with him when he left that have certainly helped out. Number one, Clint Trickett, offensive coordinator at Jacksonville State. Number two, Cam Cook, running back. Look, I am very, very happy with what Kennesaw State's done, where they are right now, undefeated in conference play. I think they'll probably be the team that faces Jacksonville State should they play again in the Conference USA title. I'm taking Jacksonville State at home. I just don't. I don't see this as a Jesus Christ. I just don't. I don't see this as a Kennesaw State win. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all good. I saw what you saw. That looked like a Justin Tucker near the end type of kick. How far left that sail?
No.
All right, let's go to the MAC. There's only one game today.
Well, hang on. I'm not going over to the fucking Pac-12 for 2 teams. Louisiana Tech goes on the road to face Washington State.
Okay.
And Washington State 9.5-point favorites. I don't know that I buy that, but I'll take Washington State to win at home.
Yeah, I've got Wazoo winning this one at home. I think L Tech hangs around and keeps it competitive, though.
Yeah. All right, we can go down to the MAC. One game today. Yeah. Eastern Michigan Ball State. Woohoo.
Woo.
Everybody's excited. Eastern Michigan 2.5-point favorites. Woohoo. Everybody's so excited. Under 48.5. Thank you very much. I don't care about anything else in this game. Under.
Yeah, I was going to say Eastern Michigan pulled it out last week against Bowling Green. I just don't think they're going to do it again. Give me Ball State.
Yeah. $1 million second chance attempt
I was about to say he really wants to give money away. Did they? I think they moved it up too, didn't they? Or
I don't know.
It looks like it's closer than it was. Either way,
he's got his cleats on, so he better be able to kick this son of a bitch.
I think he's gonna miss. Oh my gosh! I know I couldn't do any better, but oh my goodness. Oh my goodness gracious.
Anyways, Mountain West, yeah, indeed. Air Force. Nobody cares. At UConn. UConn 7.5-point favorites today.
The legend of Joey Fagnano.
Yeah. Look, has been probably the best quarterback in college football that nobody's heard of. look, this is going to be, I think, a UConn win. I think they'll cover, but I do like the over in this game, 64.5. I think both these teams will score. The UConn defense has been pretty bad. Um, Liam Zarka, the quarterback at Air Force, has been fun to watch. Honestly, he's been quite impressive. But man, this UConn team is just something else, dude. A big win over Duke last week. Yeah, give me the Huskies.
I'm right there with you, Huskies all day long. Give me UConn to win, and give me. I think UConn covers in this game. I'm going to take a UConn cover.
All right. Colorado State goes on the road against New Mexico, a game that I really liked the cover in here. I just didn't want to take it. Wasn't as confident in New Mexico getting it done. They've been kind of inconsistent at times. One thing's for certain though, they've played their game and they've stuck to it. New Mexico, I think, will win against Colorado State today.
Yeah, give me the Lobos to move to 7-3. I think one of those teams that hasn't been talked about a whole lot. They're going to be 4-2 in the Mountain West, so it's not necessarily that they would be out of the race. They would just need some help from the winner of Boise and San Diego State.
Yeah. San Jose State goes on the road to face Nevada. San Jose State's having a year they did not expect to have, 3-6, but they're going to get a bit of a pick-me-up game. They'll move to 4-6 with a win over the Wolfpack of Nevada.
Yeah, San Jose State actually has a win over that previously mentioned New Mexico team, one that continues to age poorly for New Mexico, but San Jose State is going to get a little bit of help going on the road to Mackey in Reno. And Mr. Mackey says, okay, San Jose State going to win the game.
Utah State going on the road to UNLV. That's part of my take then. I like Utah State to cover this game. I don't really care where the game's being played. UNLV's had their moments, but Anthony Calandria's injury troubles have certainly racked up, and I like what Utah State's done. I mean, they have improved game over game throughout the course of Mountain West play. They've got a big win last week, a big win last week against Nevada. You like the pick-me-up game right before you go on the road and take on a team quite like UNLV. I like Utah State to cover. I like them to win outright. I think Utah State takes UNLV out of Mountain West Conference contention.
Well, Cam would say, hey, what do you say? Utah State's going to win today. I think you're right. I think Utah State does hang around in this game and will cover, but I'm going to give a slight edge to UNLV and Calandria. I think makes a play late that gives the Runnin' Rebels their 8th win on the year.
Boise State without Maddox Madsen yet again this week. We saw how that worked last week. Not particularly expecting that to be different. Jaden Denegal has been very fun to watch for San Diego State. They've not really scored a bunch of points. They haven't done anything outrageous or outlandish.
Yeah.
But they're playing good football, and their defense has been just dominating teams when they don't. Yeah. If there is a team that they play that's got questions on their offense, they take control of the game. That's what I'm leading on here. This game being down in, what's this place called? Yeah, that. This place being down there in San Diego versus up in Boise, to me, I mean, this is a San Diego State win, and this is probably like your lock of the day. San Diego State -1.5.
Yeah, I still don't understand why the line is that low unless there's just not a whole lot of
people don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think that's got to be it. But Vegas knows, and I'm surprised that Vegas hadn't jumped on that. San Diego State, I'm right there with you. I think they win, easily cover. I know maybe a little bit of an overreaction to that road trip to Hawaii last week for San Diego State, but it doesn't matter to me. I'm taking the Aztecs.
Wyoming on the road against Fresno State. 2.5-point favorites are the Bulldogs. I think they'll get the job done today. I like Wyoming. I think they'll be able to hang around. They've played a lot better than I expected this year. This Fresno State team that I think is still a quiet contender here.
Yeah, I've got Fresno State winning this game as well. I think they'll cover and win by at least a touchdown here in this game. Wyoming will hang around for a bit, but I'm going to take the Bulldogs to get the home victory.
All right. Sun Belt, Marshall.
Sun Belt.
We've talked about Marshall. I think they cover 7.5. 1-8 Georgia State at home. I don't have much else to add to that.
There's no home field advantage at the site formerly known as Turner Field, or Turner Park, I should say. No, it was Turner Field.
Yeah, Turner Field.
Marshall gets to 5-5. They cover 7.5 points.
App State, JMU. a few years ago, App State kind of spoiled the party for JMU. They were making their playoff conversations. Game day was there.
Hmm.
App State spoiled the party. I don't think so. Not today. JMU probably covers 20.5 and probably doubles it. I mean, this is just not a good App State team.
Yeah.
And I don't blame Dow Logans. This is just not a good team.
Yeah, there's no turd in the punch bowl today for JMU. They're going to move to 9-1, and it's not going to be pretty. Hopefully, the lady upstairs does not hear this one, or watch this one either.
Oh yeah, I want to try to keep it off the TV. Won't be hard with ESPN Plus not being on my fucking TV
I was
anymore.
about to say, yeah, there you go.
By the way, canceled that subscription immediately. Fuck them.
Hell yeah, as you should.
Anyways,
and that's why I refused to add any more money to pay for.
Well,
I was hopeful that it wasn't even going to be.
But as I mentioned,
like a week. But I know.
As I mentioned, I'm not going to talk about football that I don't know, so I'm going to make sure that I watch everything I can. And it was an okay experience. It was actually kind of a fun experience trying to like just sitting in and keying in on one game. Like, I'm normally doing the quad box thing, and that's great. Yeah. But to be able to just sit and key in on one game and really get one game down, I was okay with that. I wasn't really terribly upset with that.
No, I understand that.
Anyways, South Alabama, UL Monroe. South Alabama, 4.5-point favorites today. Look, I get why. I think I understand that part, but I don't know that I buy it. South Alabama has not played good. They've won the game they were supposed to win, I suppose, against Louisiana. Everything else has been kind of whatever for them. I'm going to take UL Monroe to win. I like what they will bring to the table today.
Well, South Alabama didn't even beat Louisiana last week. They beat Georgia State a couple weeks ago, though.
That's what it was. Sorry. There were two one-win teams, and South Alabama and Louisiana were two-win teams facing off. The Louisiana one.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. You look at it on paper, this is a South Alabama team that's a lot more talented than their record would indicate. They've got a brutal strength of schedule with Tulane, a 2-point loss. At Auburn was 2 possessions. 18-point loss against Coastal, a 2-touchdown loss to North Texas, touchdown loss at Troy, a 1-point loss against Arkansas State. Last week, the 9-point loss against Louisiana. I mean, something's got to give for South Alabama in one of these tight games, right? I think it's this week. I think especially with a tougher, last two, that I think the Jaguars need it more. They get it more. I'm going to take South Alabama to knock out ULM.
Yeah. Texas State and Southern Miss. Southern Miss only getting 3.5 here. I don't really understand that one.
I think it's it's another. Texas State is more talented than their record indicates. I just don't understand the.
Are they?
Are they? Sun Belt.
They're winless in Sun Belt play. They are not playing good football at all. They're just they are finding ways to lose every game, and it's because of their defense. They can't get a stop.
Yeah.
Southern Miss can. Yeah. They play defense, and they have the best quarterback in the conference.
Yeah.
Believe that or not, they have the best quarterback in the conference.
Yeah.
So I mean, to me, it feels very no-brainer, no shit. Southern Miss 3.5. I'm gonna go play that right now. Thanks.
You're welcome. It feels that way to me as well. I'm taking Southern Miss, and I think they cover, but I can understand why the spread is a little lower. It's another one of those head scratchers like the San Diego State -1.5. It feels like it's something that needs to be pounced upon here before before people wake up and realize in that game.
Yeah.
And then I think the last one is you've got Coastal Carolina down in Statesboro to take on Georgia Southern, and this is part of your Take 10, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, it was if you were listening.
I was. That's why I was trying to set you up to rehash it.
Coastal plus 3.5. Look, I don't see why Coastal money line isn't a play here. Plus 125. Yeah. I'd be slamming it. Jeez, that sounds so fucking wrong. But I would be taking the Coastal money line today. I am taking the Coastal money line. I do not understand why Coastal would not be favored over Georgia Southern. They have played better football. They have won games in a better fashion. And by the way, they are just quietly second in this conference with 1 loss in said conference, with another 1 game away because keep in mind their next game is South Carolina, which they could
Mm.
potentially go win. But before they go play JMU for a chance to play in said conference title. Coastal's not losing this game today. Not a fucking chance.
I'm right there with you. I think Coastal gets the win. I think this is they look at this as a more evenly matched game, but the home field advantage, I think that doesn't matter for Coastal. I'm going to take them to go
in the fucking Sun Belt. The only teams in the Sun Belt that have home field advantage are JMU, App State, and Coastal. Those are the only three teams in this conference that get home field advantage.
Right.
The other teams in this conference don't play in a stadium, but they could fill fucking 24 people in. I could buy more eggs at one time than I could put people in that fucking stadium.
Well, I'm trying to give a rationale as to why they're a 3.5-point favorite at home, and so if I look at it, and take
there's
3
none.
points away for home field.
There's simply none. I don't know why this is the line. I hammer the money line if you're able, willing and able, and also certainly don't. That was me quoting willing and able. That was me quoting the great Charles Wesley Godwin. But anyways. Moving to the ACC, gonna skip the game that we're obviously gonna talk about. We'll get to that later. NC State at Miami. Justin Jolie's back. Hollywood Smothers is back. This NC State team beat Georgia Tech without either of those two guys. Closer.
They don't do it without.
Closer than the line says. Closer than that plus 50.5 says. But I'm taking Miami to win. I think they'll get back on track today.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Give me Miami, and I think they cover as well.
Oh. So actually, in me saying that, it dropped to minus 14.5 for Miami from 15.5.
Yeah.
So all right.
That's what I was seeing, 14.5.
Georgia Tech against 1-9 Boston College. Damn, BJ's coaching them in real life too. Georgia Tech goes in and takes care of business.
Let's just calm the F down. Why don't we do that? And Georgia Tech wins big.
Yeah.
That was unwarranted. It was rude. It was pretty fucking rude.
It was pretty funny. It was pretty funny.
It was pretty funny, but it was pretty fucking rude too.
Virginia and Duke. An 8-2 team versus a 5-4 team for a chance. You guessed it, to go to Charlotte. Yeah, believe that or if you will, but that is in fact on the table today. Now it's not going to be a guarantee that the winner of this game goes to Charlotte because they still both have to play 2 more conference games.
Correct.
However, this game does solidify or expand a tie for first in the conference. Chandler Morris is probable today. That's his current designation, updated to probable. If he's on the field at any less than 80%, okay. I'm going to take Duke to win. If he's on the field and ready to go, Virginia's probably just going to go cardiac calves again and keep rolling. So, I'm going to take Duke to win. Duke minus 5.5. Jesus, man, that's crazy.
Yeah, I think that's because of the big uncertainty with Morris.
Yeah. I'll take Duke to win. I'll go ahead and do it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think Duke wins regardless of what percentage Chandler Morris is at. I think the cardiac calves has been cute, but I don't think it lasts in this game. I hope that Chandler Morris gives them 100% and is able to go and make this a really great back and forth game. But I think Duke outlasts the Cavs and gets the win.
UNC and Wake Forest. Look, UNC's played a little better the last few weeks. By the way, the over-under 38.5. Jesus. I think this is an Iowa game we're talking about.
I was about to say, it's a 71 degrees at kickoff in Winston-Salem, and spreads that low.
Interesting.
Weird.
I'm taking Wake at home, and I'm going to go with the over. I think the Wake offense can put enough on the board to make that happen.
Yeah, I'm leaning
7-3, by the way, are the Deeks, man, with the win today. That's insane, man. I'm super happy with Jake Dickert, man.
I'm looking forward to seeing that. I think Wake finds a way to get it done again. Give me the Deeks.
Virginia Tech, led by interim coach Philip Montgomery, they got some news earlier this week or earlier
Mm-hmm.
today, this morning
Earlier today,
actually,
in fact, yeah.
that James Franklin pretty much a done deal to Vautech next year. Cool.
How about
Um,
that?
I am going to go ahead and take Florida State to win this game. I'm going to take Virginia Tech to cover. I think it's going to be a close game. We're going to be real close to Florida State going right back to old ways. Don't get twisted over that Wake Forest win. They're not
I'm
back.
right there with. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think VT hangs around, but I think Florida State gets the victory.
Yeah. All right, Big 12. Arizona goes on the road to face Cincinnati. Look, it snowed for the first time up there in Cincy. The football field's open, by the way. You can just get in there. The Cincy students drew dicks on the stadium once again. I mean that's a lock for a cover, right? I mean that's gotta be something. No, but this is a noon kickoff Eastern time zone. Arizona going cross country. I'm taking Cincy to get the job done. 8-2, by the way. 8-2 would be them with a win today.
Yeah, give me the Bearcats. I'm gonna take the since they moved to 6-1 in conference play and keep their hopes of making it to Arlington alive, going into that huge game next week with the Cougars of BYU.
Kansas State, Oklahoma State. Yeah, great. ESPNU. Dude, you can't find anything else. Okay. K-State. Moving on.
K-State by whatever they want to win by.
Yeah. West Virginia at Arizona State. ASU 11.5 point favorites in Tempe for a 10 a.m. kickoff. Oh, okay.
Is the student section going to be awake enough, or have they been partying all night?
They're going to be still in their dorms.
I was about to say.
Man, whatever is West Virginia going to do on the road at 10 a.m. Eastern time, or and local time, but 1 a.m. or 1 p.m. for them? Oh yeah, they're going to win. West Virginia knocks off Arizona State and Tempe today.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think that West
Shut
Virginia
the fuck up. Stop
to...
agreeing with me. God damn it, dude. I need something else. Give me somebody who might think logically.
No, I think that the ASU win at Iowa State was really fluky. I'm not buying into this ASU team. Give me West Virginia to keep that momentum rolling right along. They've won back-to-back games. They nearly won a third straight, against TCU back at the last weekend of October. I think West Virginia is clicking right now, and I think Arizona State's defense is going to have a tough time. Plus, there's no Jordan Tyson in this game for ASU. They don't have Levitt. They don't have Tyson. I think West Virginia gets the win. I think it's ridiculously crazy to have this at an 11.5 point spread. West Virginia for sure covers, and I think they pull the outright upset.
All right. UCF and Texas Tech. Tech 23.5 point favorites. Over under sits at 48.5. I like Tech to win. I like them to push towards a cover, but I don't know that I'm going to take a cover, so I'll give straight up Texas Tech.
Texas Tech, I think they win comfortably enough. I don't think UCF hangs around and makes this a competitive game for too long.
Utah on the road against Baylor. I need that Baylor over 7.5 parlay, hit, for my win total for this year. So I need Baylor to win this game, kind of.
Yeah.
Fuck it though. How do you go against this Utah team right now? They are on fire. They've been playing great football really ever since the BYU game, and even in the BYU game once that game got down to the wire. I'm gonna take the Utes to get it done in Waco today.
I'm also going to take the Utah Utes to win, and I think they get very close to covering. Baylor has just been wildly too inconsistent this year. It's probably what's going to cost. It's likely what's going to cause Dave Aranda his job down there at the end of the year. I'm taking Utah to get this one, and I think they win by 10 or more, maybe.
I do not believe.
Which would be a cover.
I do not believe Baylor is going to jump into that ring. Same reason Wisconsin didn't. I don't think they're going to fight the amount of teams and the amount of names in this carousel right now.
That's fair, but I think that they're, because of everything that's going on with the Mac Road situation, it's not just solely because of performance. I think they're looking at some of the other stuff that's going on as part of the reason why. I can't say for certain, but that's some of the rumors and rumblings that I've heard from some of my folks that go on there.
Okay. TCU on the road in Provo tonight against BYU. Well, you don't want to talk about this, or?
BYU wins by however much they want to win by. 3.5 is criminally low. Get it while you can before that jumps up to 7.5 or more. I think BYU, coming off of that loss last week against Texas Tech, is going to be pissed off. I don't think there's going to be any chance for TCU to win this game tonight. And I'm not just saying that because I am trying to reverse jinx or anything like that. That's legitimately what I believe. After what I saw from last week's game, there's no chance in hell that I think we go in there and have a shot to compete with them. Before the season, and before even last week, I thought maybe we could hang around, but I'm not buying into it. I think BYU will win and win pretty big.
I am buying into the notion that TCU might have overlooked last week. Might have been a little too focused on what's ahead versus what was right there on their field. TCU watched the exact blueprint for how to beat this BYU team last week, and I don't particularly believe that Andy Avalos is dumb enough to not follow said blueprint. I don't believe that TCU doesn't have the guys to play coverage and bring pressure and stuff the run game, not just slow down, stuff it, because that's what happened last week.
Yeah.
If you're going to tell me that you think TCU doesn't have those, I'm going to tell you you're full of shit. If you're going to tell me they don't have a coordinator who can call a defense and can scheme that defense up to do the exact same thing this week, I think you're full of shit. The talent might not be there in terms of they didn't go and fucking spend $20 million and hand it out left and right for some of these guys, but they didn't have to. This is a good defense that's been developed and built up by Andy Avalos, who is, in my opinion, one of the best coordinators on the defensive side of the ball out there right now. And any big Power 4 program should be searching for Andy Avalos right now. Sorry, no offense to TCU, but when I say that, like blue blood team that's looking to get back, like, for example, Michigan, if they were to let go and Wink Martindale, Andy Avalos is number 1 on my list, and it's not close. But what I'm trying to say is that in all of that, I think the scheme's going to be right. I think they're going to be ready to go, and I think they're going to make Bear Bachmeier beat them through the air. And if that's the case, if he does it, kudos to Bear Bachmeier. But if they truly do what they're intending to do today, which I think is going to be force them to throw the ball and just play the run, I think TCU gets the upset tonight. Plain and simple. And that's... That ain't me blowing smoke. Look, I don't pander on this show. So, for me, I mean, look, I'm all in on TCU being able to hang around in this game. I'm picking BYU to win. Let's be very clear. But there is a path to a TCU victory here tonight.
I think that's fair, but I will let you tell me what happened tomorrow morning on the show, because I'm not staying up to watch it.
Jesus Christ. Such a fucking bitch. All right. Okay. Big Ten side of things. Michigan is on the road to Wrigley Field to face Northwestern. What a cool place to play, by the way.
Oh yeah.
By the way, Jimmy Roller going back home to play in Chicago and play at Wrigley Field. What a dream that's going to be for him.
Have you been to Chicago to Wrigley?
No. I don't particularly have much.
Dude, I've been for a couple of baseball games. I've never been for a football game, but
I'm sure it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, it has its charms, but there's also, parts of it that are a little underwhelming at times. I think it's going to be a great environment though for this action.
I always loved, and I kind of, we all know I'm not for neutral site games, especially in rivalries.
Right.
But I did kind of love when Illinois and Northwestern would play in Wrigley Field.
I was for it too.
That's one of the few I'm here for. But anyways, look, I think Northwestern's going to make this game difficult. They've made everybody's life difficult. The difference maker here is I think we're going to get some turnovers, and I think that Preston Stone is going to kind of revert a little bit back to some old patterns.
But if you
Michigan
don't watch
creates.
it, it didn't happen, right?
Well, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to watch it today. So I'm gonna take Michigan to win. I think they'll cover. I think that this is gonna be one of those where it's gonna beat them into the ground until they wear down. Um, but I'm not particularly confident, if that makes sense. Like I don't really know. I could see a world where Northwestern just wins this game, to be completely honest
Yeah.
with you. So, um, not the most confident in it. I'm a little nervous for it. I'm not gonna lie, but we'll see what that one brings.
Yeah, I think Michigan takes care of business. I think they find a way to get a late cover, and Northwestern will hang around for a bit, but I'm fully okay with confidence in the Wolverines today.
Yeah. Wisconsin goes on the road to face Indiana and Bloomington. Indiana has dropped from or actually moved up from 28 to 29.5. Indiana's gonna win. I don't know if I care if they cover or not. I just think they're gonna win.
Indiana has the second longest active home winning streak in the country, and it extends today. That's quite impressive. Last week, Northwestern overtook them as the team that has the most losses all time in college football history. Things are looking up for the Hoosiers of Indiana. Give me the Hoosiers to move to 11-0. They may end up going and being undefeated in Indianapolis. I'm not sure if we've ever seen Indiana run the table go 12-0 in a season before.
We have not, because they set the school record last year for wins in a season. So
That's what I thought.
when they hit 10, by the way.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And last year they were 11-1.
Yeah. So moving on from there, I don't really want to wait for this game. Look, I know why this happened, by the way. People are like, oh, Iowa and USC on Big Ten Network. Why the hell is that the case? Well, so everybody's got to play on Big Ten Network a couple times. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, um, nobody thought these two would be ranked at this point. So, and people thought Penn State was going to be a national title contender. So they wanted to have Penn State on national TV.
I'm kind of surprised that USC UCLA didn't get the Big Ten Network game though over this one.
But UCLA and USC, if I'm not mistaken, is well, it doesn't have a time announced. Sorry, for some reason I thought that game was going to be a Friday game. It's not. That's Indiana, Purdue, and Iowa, Nebraska. But I, for some reason, thought that was going to be a Friday game. I don't know. I don't really know. I don't know that they do that. I don't know that they do the whole flexing thing, like they do in other places, especially once it's been announced for a couple of weeks. But I'm pretty sure that the whole point was to keep Penn State on national TV, as we thought they would be a playoff contender, and unfortunately, it just didn't happen that way. So, Iowa USC on Big Ten Network at 3:30. It's not. Bear with me. I'm going to go ahead and tell you exactly what this forecast is going to be out there. At
62 degrees, rainy, something like that.
Well, hang on. Let me. I'll tell you here in just a moment.
Okay.
At kickoff, which will be noon, 12:30 Eastern.
Noon 30, yeah.
62 degrees with a real feel of 56. 87% chance of rain. They have flash flood watches in Orange County, by the way. Yeah, this is going to be fun. Basically, again, as I said earlier, Iowa's bringing the weather with them. Sloppy game, two physical teams, two teams that have really been solid in the physicality department. I just think the under hits. Under 48.5. I think USC is going to win. Remember, this is a team, again, I mentioned it earlier today. This is a team that's ran for 200 yards a couple of times against some teams that you would not expect them to push around. And they did it really with no problem. Nebraska, they ran for over 200. Michigan, they ran for over 200 and dominated that game. This USC team's legit. I think they're going to win this game today.
I think Iowa hangs around and covers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's a 6.5 point spread, but I'm in agreement with you on the under. But yeah, I'm going to take the Trojans as well. By the way, you were talking about it wasn't something that was able to be flexed. They didn't announce the kickoff time or network for this game until I thought either late last Saturday or early Sunday.
Hmm.
Uh,
I don't know.
like
Look, I'm
it
just
was
saying.
one of
I
those
think
6 day windows, right?
right, but everybody gets their draw like before the
Two,
season,
yeah.
right? And while
Hmm.
it's not announced on TV, I'm sure a lot of this is figured out ahead of time. It just so
Hmm.
happens that that's what it is. So it's all right.
Yeah.
Penn State on the road against Michigan State and East Lansing. 6.5 point favorites. I don't really care.
The land
Penn
grant.
State wins, covers. That's what I want to see today. Simply for everything. Dad's birthday yesterday. I just want to see Penn State win
Yes.
today.
Penn State will win, get their first win against a P4 opponent, and they'll get to hang on to the land grant trophy. Give me the Nittany Lions.
Maryland at Illinois. I like the over in this game. I still stand by the over in this game. I stand by Maryland covering, but I'll take Illinois to win in Champaign today.
Yeah, I'm completely on board with that. Maryland hangs around, covers, but Illinois proves to be a little too much. And your Maryland play of under 4.5 stays alive for into the next week, it looks like.
Yeah. Purdue and Washington. Washington 14.5 point favorites at home against the Boilermakers. I'm gonna take Washington to win. I'll live with the cover, I suppose, on that game. But it'll be whatever.
If Purdue's leading passers, their punter, Washington might be in trouble. No, in all seriousness, Washington in a bounce back spot. Give me the Huskies to take care of business at home.
UCLA goes on the road to play Ohio State without Nico Iamaleava, still in concussion protocol.
That's jumped up like 3 points today since that news came out, if I'm not mistaken.
And I'm gonna go ahead and take Ohio State to win. I don't know that they cover 34.5. We've seen them a couple times this year kind of call off the dogs at points.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say for sake of them staying in a rhythm, they're gonna keep going in this game. I'm gonna say they cover.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Ohio State big.
All right, on to the SEC today. Where, geez, can I skip that one?
Hey, if we talked about it, my game.
South Carolina on the road against Texas A&M. A&M covers. Take the over. 49.5.
Tell your kids about a 10-0 Texas A&M. Holy cow!
Oh yeah, they're good. They're
Crazy.
gonna be 12-0. Sorry,
Yeah.
but they're gonna be 12-0.
Yeah. I mean, this is just something that I don't think you and I have seen in our lifetimes from A&M. It's been a really great year for them.
Arkansas, LSU. LSU 4.5 point favorites. They're starting Michael Van Buren today. Nussmeier gets the boot. We'll see. I mean, I don't know that's going to be the play they wanted to make or thought they should make. Don't know if they're looking for a different look on offense or not. I'm going to take LSU to win just because I think the talent's there. I think they can get it done, but don't be surprised if this little fucking charade gives Arkansas their third of the season.
Yeah, I'm actually going to take the upset here. I'm taking Arkansas. I think their offense has been clicking, and it's just been one of those things that they were close against Mississippi State. They were close against Auburn. They were close against Ole Miss. At some point, things have to bounce their way, and they're going to get an SEC win. I think it happens today in Tiger Stadium. It's an early kick as opposed to a late kick. The crowd is just kind of ho-hum, lackluster now that this is almost a season of apathy. I think the Razorbacks
and it ain't
get it
ending
done
anytime
and
soon.
spoil the party. No, I mean they
This
still
shit's
got a
not
couple
ending
more.
anytime soon. Well, no, it's not even that. It's this coaching shit, man. Like it's this intent to not pay Brian Kelly because of they're gonna find cause and all this stuff. They are
just pay him his money, dude.
They are killing themselves in this future thought that they're gonna get somebody worth a damn. Because I'm telling you right now. Yeah. The John Summeralls of the world even are not going to go coach here. They're going to go to Auburn. No. They're going to go. I mean, we know who's going to Florida, based on what we've heard. But they're going to go to Ole Miss over you now because you keep fucking around and you don't want to do the right things. Honor
Yeah.
the damn contracts. This is just getting absurd. It's getting to the point where
Yeah.
it's quite ridiculous. And they're just hurting themselves as time's going to go on. They're going to get some G5 coach. Great,
Hmm.
cool. Congrats to you. But it's not going to be the home run hire you're going to expect, and we're going to sit back
Yeah.
and wonder, damn, are we going to be doing this again in 2 years?
Right. You know what? I'll give you a name for the LSU coaching search. How about Bobby Wilder, the head coach of the undefeated 10-0 Tennessee Tech squad that goes to Kroger Field to take on Kentucky today? I don't think LSU has enough balls to go FCS to P4 without that G5 stop in between, but I mean, why not? The Golden Eagles have been playing very well over there in the OVC Big South. They are undefeated. They got a win over UT Martin, or they got a game against UT Martin next week that will determine the OVC Big South conference title, assuming UT Martin doesn't get upset today. But the Golden Eagles go to Kroger Field in Kentucky, and they're only a 22.5 point underdog, Tyler.
Yeah, because they're going to cover. As a matter of fact, I mean,
Hmm.
I'm not ruling out them to win this game, but I think Kentucky's
Yeah.
going to get it done. The talent disparity is going to show at some point in this game, but I'm not going to be surprised if this game is one where the Tech's hanging around. They're going to be in the conversation, and all of a sudden, Kentucky kind of just does what they need to do to win this game. Um,
Yeah, I mean,
I'm going to
look,
take
they were
Tennessee
kind
Tech
of.
plus 22.5. That's what I'm taking today.
I'm right there with you. Look, Kentucky kind of left for dead after 4 straight losses. They were sitting there at 2-5. All of a sudden, the ugly win at Auburn, the thorough thrashing of Florida last week. If they get the win today, they just got to find one upset either at Vandy or at Louisville. See if they could get back to 6 wins in a bowl game. And suddenly, Mark Stoops, who looked to be left on dead at some point earlier this year based on how they had been performing in that in that 4 game losing stretch, even with that overtime close loss that they laid it all out on the line trying to beat Texas and couldn't get it done. I mean, a bowl win or a bowl game for Kentucky after all of that would be pretty remarkable. But
Yeah,
I think Kentucky wins, but I'm going to take Tennessee Tech to cover as well.
yeah. Tennessee plays Air today. Cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not spending any
they're
time on this game. Tennessee's going to win. They're going to probably cover that
yeah
41.5. The over's probably going to hit because they're going to do it on their own. And
the
we'll move on and talk
the
about another SEC
yeah.
cupcake November.
I was about to say the Aggies are going to lose today, but it's not Texas A&M's Aggies. Give me Tennessee big.
Ole Miss and Florida. A lot of people are like just like trying to get in on this. Florida is going to beat Ole Miss and take care of business. The lines dropped from 15.5 to 11.5. Yeah, I'm taking Ole Miss to win. I don't think they're going to just lose and have their playoff hopes come into question on this one.
No, I mean Florida basically killed Ole Miss's playoff dreams last year in the swamp. I think Ole Miss is looking to exact some revenge, and I think they will. Even if there's all the talk of Florida's going to go in, win the game, and steal their coach. Even if Kiffin goes over there, which is not a guarantee, by the way. I mean, it's trending that way. It seems like that's how things could be headed. I think he's determined to go out with some hardware for the Rebels before he goes and takes that gig in the swamp. I'm going to take the Rebels here.
Mississippi State goes on the road to face Missouri. The Tigers 6.5 point favorites. Don't look now, but Mississippi State just needs to win today or in 2 weeks, and they'll be bowl eligible.
Mm-hmm.
It's not out of the question they win today. Here's why I'm not taking them to win today. This is Missouri defense. They've just been lights out all year long. It's been really a bit of everybody, but Zion Young's been probably, I'd say, the star of this defense. Missouri's going to move to 7-3. I think they're going to get a win. Matt Zollers looked good last week. It just wasn't enough to beat an A&M team that's that good. This is the opportunity to kind of show that he is the future of this program, and I think he'll do just that.
Here's the thing we saw last week with Texas A&M. This is what you're going to have to do if you're Mississippi State. You're going to have to try to keep this Missouri rushing game in check, and it's easier said than done, obviously. How many yards do the Bulldogs allow Ahmad Hardy to run for? Because if you could, get some pressure and try to make this a tough, environment for the young freshman to have to, make plays throwing the ball, you've definitely got a shot to win this game. I think that Mississippi State has the offense to go in there and to win as well. I just it's one of those things that I think this is the more likely of the two. If Mississippi State is going to make a bowl game, they have to win tonight, I think. And I'm not sure that they will, but I wouldn't be a bit surprised. There's a reason why it's only a 6.5 point spread for Missouri. I think Mississippi State covers, but I'm going to take Missouri in a tight one.
All they had to do was not choke that Texas game, and they're
against
below
Texas.
right now.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Let's close this out. We got 2 more picks to make here today, and
I thought 3 because we got 1 ACC.
Sorry, 2 more SEC, 1 more. I was just looking at SEC and saw 2.
Yeah.
I'll start with the one that I think is going to be probably the more obvious. Oklahoma and Alabama face off today, 3:30. Alabama 6.5 point favorites. I have it on my take 10. I'm all about Alabama winning and covering this game. Yet another mark in the Ty Simpson should be a Heisman Trophy candidate and the front runner campaign here that we're half hosting on this show, which I never thought I'd host such a campaign for an Alabama player. But look, John Mateer is averaging. Let me get the right number. I wrote it down earlier this week, so I wouldn't forget. John Mateer is averaging 183.5 pass yards per game since his thumb injury. That's not enough.
Yeah.
And they are not running the ball well enough. They've had 300-yard games in a row, but the last time they played a team that could stop the run, Texas, they didn't even approach 60. So, to me, this is all on John Mateer today. It's going to come down to what he can do. Is he going to be able to do it through the air and on the ground? We saw him have 80 rushing yards last week. It's going to require both today. And if he's not there yet, if he's still not getting the ball where it needs to be, Alabama's going to have a field day today. I picked Alabama 24-13 earlier this week. I'm sticking to Alabama 24-13 today.
Everything that I've seen for this game, the path to victory for Oklahoma, people talking about why it will be an upset, they predicated on Oklahoma's rushing defense being, really good at stopping the Alabama rushing attack, and Alabama's rushing attack not really being much to write home about, especially after what we saw against LSU last week. That may be true, but here's the thing. Alabama has not been running the ball well at all, basically all year, even when they did get Jam Miller back. This is Alabama team that, despite that, has been playing very well, and it's because of Ty Simpson, because of the threat that he offers you to get the ball out in space in the flats and basically using the pass as an extension of the run in some cases. They're not running the ball, between the tackles or whatnot, because they're going outside, they're going in space, and they're basically treating a quick swing pass as a rushing assault, even though it's a completion and a pass instead of a run. And that's how Alabama is going to win this game, and it's not even going to be close. Alabama is going to have more speed going outside. They're going to go up and down the field, I feel like. And I just don't think that Oklahoma, at the end of the day, like you mentioned, Tyler, is going to be able to keep up if John Mateer is not able to be more of that downfield passing threat. Ty Simpson's going to take care of the ball. This Alabama offense is going to be clicking, and I think that the Tide win and the Tide roll and the Tide cover in this game. I've got Alabama winning and moving to 9-1.
Yep.
Basically clinching their ticket to Atlanta with this win today, if I'm not mistaken. Although it could be interesting if they were to lose to Auburn. That's there's a lot of tiebreaker scenarios that would come into play, and part of how they would sort that all out would be dependent on who wins that Mississippi State Missouri game. So. A lot to be determined from the SEC this year.
Texas on the road against Georgia. Texas 0-2 last year against those Bulldogs. One of those losses in Austin, the other one in Atlanta. And today is supposed to be much different. Yeah, okay. Oh, silence is golden. No, but that's what I was looking for. But anyways, look, the Texas run defense is the strength, and the Georgia run offense has been a bit of a strength. It's going to come down to quarterbacks. Who can outduel the other one? Because the Texas run game has not been good. They've not been healthy, but this is the most healthy they've been. Georgia's run defense is good, too. Strength on strength, I think we're going to probably be looking at a relative stalemate. And if anybody does go over 100 yards in this game on the ground, I think they're winning the game. And I think it's more likely that it's going to be Georgia that would do that. But let's take the run games out of it. Say the run games do get slowed down. Both these teams sit around 60, 70 yards on the ground. Quarterback versus quarterback. Who are we taking? Here's the thought process. Both these quarterbacks don't really like to get the ball down the field. They don't like to. That's not the offense they're in. Arch Manning has proven that he can't. Gunnar Stockton, they just have athletes and they use them in space. It's coming down to getting guys open on the outside, getting guys, again, in space, and allowing them to make plays. Georgia, Gunnar Stockton has an average depth of target, by the way, BJ, this season. I wrote it down earlier this week when I did this, when I previewed this game. 7.6 yards. Okay.
Okay.
Arch Manning was at 9.3. I don't know that Texas is going to move the ball that far down the field on this Georgia defense. But what I do know is that Georgia's going to continue to do what's worked for them, and I think it's going to still work. If I'm talking quarterback versus quarterback, I'm trusting Gunnar Stockton over Arch Manning. Plain and simple. Gunnar Stockton takes care of the ball better. He can get the ball downfield. He's got the threats to do it. But he's also just more consistent. I'm taking Georgia to win at home today. I'm not taking a cover or not cover, but I'm taking Georgia to win this game at home.
You know, here's the thing. Arch Manning got hit really late in the game, not really late in a play, on the road at Mississippi State, knocked him out for the remainder of that overtime session, and Texas was able to win. He came back the following week against Vanderbilt, and it's like that hit taught him how to play football or something. Maybe knocked the Manning sped out of him for at least that day against Vanderbilt.
I mean, go back and watch that game, though. That's a lot of yards after catch. That was a lot of behind the line of scrimmage. That's not on Arch Manning. Let's not overreact to that game. Before we,
I'm not.
I'm just making sure we're on the right track here, because that's not how that game was. That was not him learning how to play football. That was game planning that worked out, and Vandy couldn't tackle. That's not Arch Manning learning how to play football.
If I'm ever going to get the heel character, though, I have to kind of set the stage for that turn, right?
I suppose. I mean, you can carry on, but I just let's be very clear. That's not learning how to play football.
Correct. No, I say that in a little bit of jest, because it's not like he didn't know how to play football, but he looked more confident, I think, more comfortable than he had in a while in that game against Vanderbilt. And I think that's something that you know, if you're Texas, you like to be encouraged to see that and see if that's going to continue to trend well. But I'll tell you what, the way that he's looked on the road, the way that the first half against Mississippi State, even into the third quarter that they looked, was not confidence inspiring. Ohio State, he looked like a deer in the headlights. There's been some other road games that the Swamp against a team in Florida that has just not been there all season long, outside of that one really great defensive showing against Texas. It took overtime and really two great punt returns for Texas to escape from Kentucky with a win. This Texas team struggles mightily on the road, and this is a whole nother environment that they're walking into in Athens. This is going to be a rowdy crowd. This is going to be a very tough environment. If Texas cannot run the ball, which we've seen them struggle with all season long, they're not going to enter they're not going to exit, I should say, Sanford Stadium with a win tonight. I'm going to take Georgia to win this one as well.
All right. The game that I think I don't know that anybody's overly excited about it, but it's coming up here in about 10 minutes. 15, I think, by the time this is all said and done.
Yeah.
Notre Dame, 13.5-point favorites on the road against Pitt today. That's a little much. But here's what I'll say. Okay. I've seen all this thing. Well, Pitt's throwing the ball for 300 yards a game since Mason Henschel took over. Well, they were throwing for 300 yards a game before Mason Henschel took over, by the way. That's not new. As a matter of fact, their average on the season was 302.6, and Mason Henschel's average is 302.3. That's just that. Those are the legit numbers this year. I looked them up.
Right.
Notre Dame's got the 96th ranked pass defense, as a good friend of ours has been very, very clear to point out. Notre Dame is third in the country in interceptions. 16 of them. Third in the country. What do young quarterbacks do against defenses that play pretty good football? I'm not saying that Notre Dame's a great defense. They're not the best pass defense that we've ever seen at Notre Dame. But teams that can create turnovers do it against young quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
That's my turning point in this game. Pitt, on the other hand, has a great defense. They're gonna be focused on the run game, and I think it's gonna allow CJ Carr to really prove himself as a quarterback, prove what he's able to do. Notre Dame's not gonna cover today because I think that would be too simple. But I do think Notre Dame's gonna win. I am very interested in this game. I like the optics of an over 55.5, but I really just like this game to be somewhere between 7 and 10 points and just a lot of fun to watch. I'm very excited for this game to come on here in about, again, 15 minutes when it kicks off.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Here's the thing. At the end of the day, this is a Pitt defense that I think if they can get enough pressure on and keep Jeremiah Love and Jadeveon Price in check and try to make another young quarterback that has played very well this year in CJ Carr, if they can try to make Notre Dame win through the air, they've got a shot. They've got a path to victory. But I think what we've seen is that CJ Carr, despite being a freshman, he's looked poised. He's been a confident passer. He hasn't had to do it all on his own, and he won't have to do it all on his own because I think there will be just enough of a gap of integrity that Notre Dame's rushing attack won't be completely stifled and bottled up. I think that this is a game that will be very close. It'll come down to the wire. But I think Notre Dame pulls it out of the fire late and will move to 8-2. I think Pitt will give them a scare. And that, like you said, or I don't know if you said it, but somebody said earlier this week, maybe it was the head coach of Pitt, that, look, this game means really nothing in terms of the race for the ACC title. So Pitt can afford a loss more so than Notre Dame can.
He said he would. He said he would lose this game 103-3.
Yeah,
because he'd still have a chance to win the ACC.
Yeah. I don't think he actually means that. But
if you know Pat Narduzzi, you know that he didn't mean that shit.
He's not wrong, but it's one of those things. I think Pitt is going to give him a hell of a game, but I think Notre Dame is going to win. It's going to be a very tight game. I don't even want to guess a final score projection. I just know I've got Pitt covering and Notre Dame winning outright.
I said 31-21 Notre Dame.
Okay,
that's what I said. So.
I'm thinking I could think 34-28 or something along those lines, which would still be a cover.
Yeah, that would in fact be a cover. So, all right. With that said,
all right.
Thank you guys for tuning in out here on this fine Saturday morning. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 10 a.m.
Cam.
Yeah, thank you guys for the chats. We'll be back 10 a.m. tomorrow morning with the Saturday recap show as we always do. Very excited for that. I went out and spent some money yesterday, BJ. I went and bought a brand new headset.
All right.
Because I was tired of the cutting in and out problem.
Mm-hmm.
I bought the exact same headset, but it's been 6 years since I've had that other one. I bought this headset, and I was like, man, I really hope this works. I hope it's not just something else. Not a single cutout since I've had it, and that includes yesterday in my stream. So, very excited about that. I'm very happy to know that I didn't just waste $400 fucking on this stupid ass thing. But I wanted the same of what I already had, and I knew it would last me 6 years. I could spend $400 on headsets over the next 6 years versus just buying one and being done with it, right?
Yeah.
So excited to say that I have made that happen. I don't know how excited I am to say that I made that happen, but I did, and then I also I went out. We were at the store, right, and
Hmm.
I had to go to GameStop specifically to find this only fucking thing that, and they still sell shit, right? But like the only time I've ever thought about going to a GameStop recently was for this headset. Um,
Yeah.
but we were in there and we were already in Target earlier in the day. We had a bunch of running to do, man. I had to go to
Errands.
my
Yeah.
VA appointment. I had to go to we had to go to Verizon to get her a new phone. Which she
Mm.
got the iPhone 17. Hip hip hooray. Uh, for all that. And then we
Why?
went to, well, because that's what she has, is
Want
iPhone.
an
Yeah,
iPhone?
she has iPhone. She had a 12, so she's like 5 years behind, right?
Oh my
But
goodness.
anyways,
Yeah.
um, went to Target to get stuff for the phone, and she comes across the Switch 2. By the way, the Switch 2, the graphics on the Switch 2, god damn, dude, that
Hmm.
is incredible.
Wow.
That's impressive for that thing. Um, now I remember thinking the PSP was impressive, right? Because it was like PS2 graphics, but
Yeah.
yeah, that was the Switch 2 is like unbelievable. That Mario Kart World game,
Yeah.
that could be fun, dude. It's got apparently like an open world thing. I'm not going to talk to you about video games here,
Oh,
but I
I was
am.
about to say that would be a lot of fun,
But what I ended up getting though,
especially online.
a game that I was interested in and have been interested in. She has a regular like the original Switch, right? So
Hmm.
I've been curious about games she plays. Like she's got girly ass games, right? So like Disney's Dreamlight Valley, I think it is for the Disney game.
Okay.
Mario Kart, she plays that, and then she'll play like Fortnite
That's
or
a lot
whatever
of
the fuck
fun.
else.
Yeah.
Fortnite on the Switch sucks ass, by the way. But it's whatever.
You could have just stopped after on the Switch,
Yeah,
just in general, but
yeah. But anyways, a game that I've wanted to try myself, and a reason I got it was Legend of Zelda, like Breath of the Wild.
mhm. Yeah.
That was the first one that came out on there. So I found it. It was somewhat expensive, but I found it and got it. And she has not put it down. She keeps telling me, she's like, "Oh, it's okay. It's an okay game. Like you fucking put the son of a bitch down." Whatever.
That's
I'm sure that's what
awesome.
she'll be doing while I'm watching football today. But
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Well, I mean, she might watch some of it.
I doubt it. She'll watch when I start yelling at something, I'm sure, but that's about it.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
with that said, it is time for football. It's 11:58 a.m.
It
So
is.
let's get out of
Yeah.
here. BJ, thank you for being here. We'll see you in the morning.
Of course.
And
See you tomorrow.
yeah, everybody for tuning in. Appreciate y'all. If you're going to a game, be safe. Have a good one. Enjoy your Saturday. Drink responsibly. We'll catch y'all again tomorrow.